in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Good morning. Already kind of an adventurous day. Morning, Leisure. Good to see you. Nothing's really happened. Oh, no. Hey, Amber. I didn't think you'd be able to get here. I wasn't sure how much. Oh, really, Sawyer? Shut up. Nobody cares about your crankiness. Hold on. All right. Let's change this. I'm thinking about doing something, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet. There's a couple of the recovery bullies that I'm thinking about just sending them an email. And I'll stick to the truth and letting them know that maybe it's better that they just get out of the industry now. It's going to be like a bad dream. No. Not how I'm going to spend my day today, though. Just a thought that might turn into an action. I thought about putting it this way. I thought about making it a thank you letter. Hey, thanks for ruining everything in Colorado. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing it. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's get on with today's shit. They're not worth the time today. Michelle says, hello, in 10 minutes. I want to see the guy from 1974. Okay. I don't know what that means, Michelle. I take it you're going to go do something. That's what I'm going to presume. This needs to go over here like that. There we go. All right. Clara Joyce gave me this. I figured I'd put it somewhere where people are talking about. You said hello in 10 minutes. I want to see the guy from 1974. And you're asking me what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. Yeah, they're all everybody's in a meeting. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what you're talking about. The guy. Yeah, go for it, man. Looks like it'll be cool. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Yeah, if a guy that you don't know is more important than me, I mean, go for it. I'm just kidding. No, I know what you're talking about. What Heather had posted, but yeah, go for it. Should be pretty good. Maybe I'll even go. Maybe we'll cut this a little short. I'll head to that too. It's one of Heather's friends. All right. So, okay. Now that I'm all caught up in my own chat, I did read the chat this morning, but I just woke up. Good job. Lots of cool stuff happening in the chat, man. Yeah. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I'm going to be telling, it was at 11, it ends at noon. It's almost over. That's why she said 10 minutes. Got it. So I'm not going to go to it. I thought it was at 11, but like I could trust my brain at the moment. But I'm telling my story tonight. That primary purpose for anybody that'd like to meet there. I'm also going to be putting it on Zoom, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. Because usually what I do when I'm speaking with somebody else, I usually let them go first. Just because that's the nice thing to do. I like the second spot because I can work with time probably better than most other people that speak. And usually they end up being real short and then I get more time. So just kind of works out. Now, if they want to go second, I'll go first, but I may not be able to start the Zoom until I am speaking. I'm going to have to ask the other speaker if they are okay with being on Zoom. If they are not, I'm going to have to respect that. So, all right. Looks like we're going to be at 48:49. And today, what I did, I'll tell you how I got this. Okay, because I was just thumbing through as Bill sees it. Says it is constantly being revealed as mankind studies the material world that his outward appearance is not inward reality at all. And that line caught my eye. I'm like, and it's in the big book. I don't remember this. Learning more stuff, learning new stuff, right? So we're going to go there. And what we're going to be talking, or at least try to stick to today, is that our outward appearance is not really who we are. It's not an inward reality, right? Take a look at Robin Williams. Did his outward appearance match his inward reality? No, it did not. I find it really sad. He went out, and Robin went out angry, man. He went out angry. He was suffering. That man suffered. I miss Robin Williams a lot. All right. So it looks like we're going to be in We Agnostics. All right. 48-49. The reader may still ask why he should believe in a power greater than themselves. We think there are good reasons. Let's have a look at a few of them. The practical individual today is stickler for facts and results. Really? Not nowadays. Oh, if it's on the internet, it's true, right? Right now, people are not. I am not watching people stick to facts, and we got to stick to facts, man. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Nevertheless, the 20th century readily accepts theories of all kinds, provided they are firmly grounded in fact. We have numerous theories, for example, about electricity. Everybody believes them without a murmur or doubt. Why is this ready acceptance? Simply because it is impossible to explain what we see, feel, direct, and use without reasonable assumption as a starting point. Faith. Can you see faith? Well, it depends on how you're looking for it in my book. I see faith all the time. I do. There are some people who faithfully make this. Leisure said birds aren't real. Drone birds was proven. That's right. That's right. And because Leisure read it on the internet, it's true. It is so based in fact. He's fucking with us with anybody that doesn't know. Right? Without reasonable assumption as a starting point. There's a lot of things that we were faithful to alcohol. We were faithful to our own needs, to our selfishness, to our anger, to our manipulations. We were faithful to these things. Right? Everybody nowadays believes in scores of assumptions for which there is good evidence, but no perfect visual proof. How about internet? Can you see the internet? No, you cannot. It's a bunch of ones and O's. For any of you younger people, that is the sound of a modem. You don't get to hear the joys and sounds of a modem while logging onto AOL anymore. Right? That was a little bit of proof. But no, you just plug it in and it works. You don't know nothing about it. Not many people know how the internet actually works, but you rely upon it. No, we have faith in the internet working, don't we? When you go to pick up your phone and it's not connecting, how people get frustrated so easily, including myself. Heck, this was a couple weeks ago, but I was live and the power just went out. There was nothing I could do about it. And I tried. Even 5G was down. Couldn't get into a meeting. Couldn't do any of that. Oh, no. Good morning, Julia. It's good to see you. Oh no, I can't access the internet. My life is over. When you're the person that controls the internet in the house or in the office and it goes down, oh gosh, you are the most popular person at that point. You are very popular. Right? Like, I can control the internet. Can you fix the internet? Sure. Bippity boppity boo. There, it's fixed. No, I can't fix the internet. I don't have the power. Actually, I do kind of know how, but if it's not broken at the house and they're not, you are powerless. Us alcoholics hate that. Yes, when we are powerless over things. All right. I've found a lot of things I am powerless over lately. There have been things going on with some of my children, and I'm just fucking powerless over it. I can't do nothing. So what am I going to do with that? I've got to direct it somewhere. I got to do something with it. Go help another person. It's the one and only answer. So we believe in scores of, and does not science demonstrate that visual proof is the weakest proof? Yes, it is. If you go into a court of law, visual proof is the weakest proof. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. Don't get me started, Julia. Heather's not here. I can't sing. I can't sing without Heather. Thanks for putting Mary Poppins in my head, you little shit. And thanks for spelling it correctly, too. Leisure says, you helped me yesterday, brother. Yeah, and you helped me, too. You helped me, too. And did that require, was there any visual proof? No. No. Visual proof's the worst proof. But we still use it. We still use it. All right. When we see other people getting well and decide, hey, if they did it, I can do it too. I can do it too then. Man, listen how bad they were. Man, they went down a lot further than I did. That means I got a chance. So sometimes visual proof is really the only proof. Really depends on how it is. Leisure says, and that's how it works. And that's the news. Yeah, why don't you get right in my ear and go, meow? What do you want? Yeah. You've been really needy lately, dude. You all right? You been feeling okay? Huh? Bastion? I like how he's looking around at you. So, looking around me to see what's on the screen. Okay. It is being constantly revealed as mankind studies the material world that outward appearances are not inward reality at all. To illustrate, the prosaic steel girder is a mass of electrons whirling around each other at incredible speed. These tiny bodies are governed by precise laws, and these hold true throughout the material world. Science tells us so. Yeah. Now you have faith in that steel girder, don't you? You know what steel girders are used for? They're used to build really big buildings. Okay. We have no reason to doubt it. When, however, the perfectly logical assumption is suggested that underneath the material world and life as we see it, there's an all-powerful guiding creative intelligence, right there our perverse streak comes to the surface, and we laboriously set out to convince ourselves it isn't so. Woo! Yeah, but when it comes to God, now this is a defiance. For us, it is defiance. And I'm going to tell you a few things. There are some things that I intentionally hated in this life because everybody else did. Now, I'm going to give you an example. U2. Okay. I at every chance that I got, I would put down U2. To this day, I will not listen to a U2 song. Okay. But when it started, the reason I didn't like them, I just found out that Bono's a fucking idiot is why. And I really don't like their music. But there's a lot of people where I don't like their music, but I think they're really cool. There are some people where I like their music, but as a person, I don't like them. Jelly Roll's one of them. Okay. All right. Dolly Parton. Love Dolly Parton. Love her. No, and not because of her boobs. Okay. I'm 54. I'm over boobs. Okay. Because she helps a lot of people. Because of what she does with her money. Bo Nix. Loving Bo Nix. You see what he's doing with his money? He's giving it away. Amber says Taylor Swift. For those people, for your KC fans, your mascot, Taylor Swift. Right? The show Friends. Can't stand it. But I didn't like it in the beginning, and I honestly don't like it. I'm just not big on the actors. But one person, and I've always liked Matthew Perry, man. Loved Matthew Perry. Right? See how I have these different perceptions for these different things. But what we were talking about is the defiance in us. The defiance. Amber says, I hope I'm not over boobs at 54. Well, you're going to kind of have to stick with it. I was just trying to prove a point on that, right? Oh, yeah, I should have just not said boobs, because now now everybody's going to start talking about boobs. I shouldn't have opened that door. All right. Leisure says, some bands give me gas too. The Dead, Pink Floyd. Amber says, yeah, I also don't like Friends. Yeah. Stupid song. But our defiance is what stops us from being in the sunlight of the spirit. And we come up with all sorts of excuses for it too. All right. But at the same time, Amber's trying to change the conversation. So she says poop. Honestly, I'd rather talk about boobs. I can't. Okay, I can. And I'm on my third wife, right? Two of my wives, yeah. Big old boobs. Second wife, she didn't have no boobs, right? I went to all these extremes. They were all blonde, though. That's kind of what I go after. Eagles are the worst, says Leisure. No, it's the Eagles. The Eagles are the worst. Just kidding, Leisure. So, by the way, which one's pink? All right. Anyway, so we've gone over defiance, cracked a couple of jokes here, right? We read wordy books and indulge in windy arguments, thinking we believe this universe needs no God to explain it. Were our contentions true, it would follow that life originated out of nothing, means nothing, and proceeds nowhere. All right. Now, why is it that I would argue the non-existence of God forever And I will argue that and get into windy arguments or say why I shouldn't believe in God or even try and convince this person not believe in God. But now that I do believe in a higher power, I'm not running around trying to shove that down everybody's throat. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? My precious. My precious. All right. Bring up Smeagol. Do you remember his friend? Do you remember the name of the friend that he killed? Ooh, what's his name? It's close to Smeagol. That's right. Smeagol was a hobbit. He was a lake hobbit. Yeah. Not all hobbits know how to swim. Frodo and Bilbo don't know how to swim. In fact, they're kind of scared of the water. So anyway, I digress. So that the Smeagols, his name's Deagle. Smeagol and Deagle. Right? And Smeagol is actually in direct line and related to the Underhills. That's right. He was related to Frodo and Bilbo. Very, very long away, but yeah. Anyway, all right. I can tell who read the books and who just watched the movies. So, yeah, I know a lot of lore about Lord of the Rings. I got very into it. So, if you were here the other day, I talked about how my daughter has the same birthday as Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, September 22nd. She never brags about that, but I do. All right. Instead of regarding ourselves as intelligence agents, spearheads of God's ever-advancing creation, we agnostic and atheists choose to believe that our human intelligence was the last word, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end of all. Rather vain of us, wasn't it? Rather vain of us, wasn't it? Let me know if you want the books. I got plenty of copies, honey. They're pretty short reads. They're not that long. It's going to take you less time to read the books than it would to watch the movies. Well, it depends on how fast of a reader you are, too. Amber says the only book I've read is The Big Book. Kidding, but not. I dislike reading. I'm starting to like it more because I need time. Yeah, but the time I need, yeah, I get that. I was an avid reader, mainly to work on my eyeball. Nerd alert. No, I'm not a nerd. I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm not a nerd. Please don't qualify me as a nerd. Nerds get good grades. Geeks do not. I'm a geek. See, and only a geek or a nerd would know that. Just kidding. All right. So rather vain of us, wasn't it, that we thought that we know everything? I know exactly how this. No. See, there's so much perfection in this world that we don't even notice. It is all God's handiwork. It's God's handiwork. So we who have traveled this dubious path beg you to lay aside prejudice even against organized religion. See, it was the preconceived notions of others that started to seep into our own consciousness. Okay. In other words, we started to believe it because we heard it so many times. Oh, if you do this, you're going to hell. If you do this, that, you're going to hell. If you all these rules and regulations. Well, as people who are defiant, we're going to have to find something different. We can't follow those rules. Right? But I do need to see where religious people are correct. It's the same thing as going to a meeting, taking what you need and leaving the rest. It's not any different. But me closing my mind because that person is doing something and therefore cutting off my own sunlight of the spirit because of the fact that I didn't want to do this or do that? No. That's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. And boy, do we alcoholics love doing that. We have learned that whatever the human frailties of various faiths may be, those faiths have given purpose and direction to millions. People of faith have a logical idea of what life is all about. Actually, we used to have no reasonable conception whatever. We used to amuse ourselves by cynically dissecting spiritual beliefs and practices when we might observe that many spiritual-minded persons of all races, colors, and creeds were demonstrating a degree of stability, happiness, and usefulness which we have sought ourselves. So what is the difference here? One is a thought, the other is action. One requires nothing. An argument, maybe. I remember once I was at a bar with a friend of mine, and he was with his newfound fiance, and they were both avid atheists. Oh, I'm atheist. God ever get? Oh, I'm atheist, like militant atheists. They started talking. They wanted to be all cute and say how fate brought them together. And I said, "Well, I thought you were atheist." "Well, yeah, I am." And I said, "Well, fate's bigger than you. You can't believe in that." She didn't talk to me again. Took one line. "Oh, you don't get to believe in that. Don't say to run around, cut down God and all these other concepts, and then all of a sudden you want to use fate. What you are is full of shit." I'll tell you what they were. Alcoholic. And I knew that. I knew it. Instead, we looked at the human defects of these people. You know, if you want to search out something bad in somebody, you're going to find it eventually. Yes, you will. Why? Because they're human. And they may not even be making a mistake. They may just be doing something you don't like. And then you take that and then we end up taking that as fact. Well, they believe in God and look what they're doing. Doesn't mean they have faith. Doesn't mean they have humility. It doesn't mean anything. It's the actions. It is the actions behind what we do. Yeah. And sometimes use their shortcomings as a basis of wholesale condemnation. How close-minded. We see one person from a church who's doing right. Like, let's see, there's 10 people, right? And 9 of them are doing everything great. But then we pick out that one person who's just annoying the fuck out of us. And now we're going to base our whole thought process on that. What is that? Well, it's faith. A bad kind of faith, but it is still faith. You're putting your faith in that person's actions. It's faith. We talked of intolerance while we were intolerant ourselves. How many alcoholics here were said that you contradict yourself? Oh, I heard it all the time. Dion, you contradict yourself. I tell them, yeah, I know. Sometimes I just want to change my fucking mind. Another contradiction. We miss the reality and beauty of the forest because we were diverted by the ugliness of some of the trees. We never gave the spiritual side of life a fair hearing. See? What was it? What was the problem? Me. Who blocks the sunlight of the spirit? Me. I'm the only one that can block my own sunlight of the spirit. But sometimes I allow other people to do it for me, and I am allowing that. I am allowing that to happen. I've made a conscious decision that because this person did this or because that person did that, that I'm going to behave this way. We're watching it happen all over the country right now. And that's it, Leisure. You're absolutely correct. Sometimes, she says, sometimes contradiction of our stories is trying to remember our lies. Yeah. We're getting caught in a lie most of the time. Sometimes I did contradiction just to fuck with them, just to make things a little bit more confusing so that I could win the fight. Yeah. See, my mind is constantly conniving, thinking of ways that it can circumvent this or loophole this or get around that. It constantly, but I don't listen to it because I know it's not the way. I know it's not the way. This is the way. Little Mandalorian for you. In our personal stories, you will find a wide variation in the way each teller approaches and conceives of the power greater than himself. Whether we agree with the particular approach or conception seems to make little difference. Experience has taught us that these are matters about which, for our purposes, we not be worried. They are questions for each individual to celebrate or to, sorry, I might went a little too, I was reading something else. I know the book well enough that I tend to read forward a little bit. So my dyslexia got me on that. There are questions for each individual to settle for himself. Okay. I have found that the most personal thing in the world for me is my connection with my higher power. It's extremely personal. It is. And it's between me and my higher power. There's nobody else involved. You got to find your own higher power. You got to figure out your own needs. You got to figure out how to take your wants into something useful. See, you got a different path than I do. We're going to be on the broad highway together, but we're going to be walking innumerable paths. Sometimes you'll be on my path with me. Sometimes you'll be on your own path alone. Or you might be with other people or this or that. It really depends. But all of it's a learning experience. In life, you're going to come across crossroads and you're going to have to make a decision. You can either pick the easier, softer way with all the bright lights where everybody's at and have fun and drinking and partying, or you can take the arduous road where there aren't many people, where the path is a little bit overgrown because not too many people go that way. That's the route you want to pick. Pick the harder route and pick it on purpose. Challenge yourself. We kind of talked about this the other day with Christine. When you challenge yourself, what you do is you create new neural pathways in your brain. And what she did is she explained that as you get older, you have to start to intentionally do it, or they will not be created. Stagnation will kill an alcoholic very quickly. One proposition, however, these men and women are strikingly agreed. Every one of them has gained access to and believes in a power greater than himself. This power has in each case accomplished the miraculous, the humanly impossible. As a celebrated American statesman put it, let's look at the record. So what is the accomplished, the miraculous, the humanly impossible? It was the obsession to drink that was lifted. That's what they're talking about there. That we have experienced that and that we have tried everything else. And where else could it have come from? Give it a try. I tell people all the time, try Try it for 90 days. If it ain't working, come back to me. I'll write you a receipt for your misery. Julia says homeostasis will happen regardless of our control, both optimistic and scary. Very good point. Very good point. The problem is, I don't quite know what homeostasis means. Definition of homeostasis. I want to understand what she's saying. Okay, all right. Homeostasis refers to the body's ability to maintain a stable internal environment despite external changes. There you go. Right on, Julia. Good call. Ensuring optimal psychological function. Well, absolutely. Spot on, my friend. Spot on. I don't know all the words in all the world. Sometimes I forget. I did kind of know that, but my brain just isn't. It's not firing on all its synapses. I better go create some more. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And Juliet says, I is smart. I had to cut my ending there just because that was kind of funny. And have a day. Bye-bye.